Okay, I'm waiting a notification right now, Brother Dewayne. And thank you again, sir, very much.
Yes, sir.
Boom. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us. This is a part 2 interview, about 2 years apart, with our amazing brother out of Mosque number 32 out of Phoenix, Arizona, Brother Dewayne Muhammad. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience, we look forward to getting some information from you as well as some inspiration. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. This is an extreme honor, Brother Dewayne, extreme honor. First, so let's get straight into it, Brother Dewayne. I spoke with you recently, and we spoke of a conversation that you've had with the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan recently. And how did that conversation go, and what were the circumstances of that conversation?
Yes, sir. First off, I would like to say in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I'd like to give you the greetings again, Brother Joshua. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
It's an honor myself to be on your show. And yes, the Honorable, I spoke with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on November 22nd. The doctors had told me my daughter was going through bone marrow transplant at the Phoenix Children's Hospital. And the doctors had told me that she had 2 hours to live because she was having some complications with her bone marrow transplant procedure that was going on. So the doctors informed me that she had 2 hours to live and I needed to get my family, call all my family in so they can see my daughter because we're getting ready to lose her. So if you remember when I was on the show the last time, I told you that whenever I call the National House, that there's a certain title that I have when I call the National House. I'm not going to go into great detail about what that title is, but I was kind of leery about calling the National House to ask to speak to the minister. So I asked Brother Josh if he can get me to the minister, and Brother Joshua told the minister, the secretary of staff, that Brother Brandon is on the phone. So I'm listening to Brother Joshua saying Brother Brandon is on the phone. I'm like, man, what's going on? So then when it was time for the minister to come on the phone, I said, Brother Joshua, this isn't Brother Brandon, this is Brother Dewayne. He said, Brother Dewayne. He said, man, I got you on my phone as Brother Brandon. So I said, well, this isn't Brother Brandon, whoever he is, this is Brother Dewayne. So the secretary comes to the phone and she said, who is this? And I said, this is Brother Dewayne. So she says, this Brother Dewayne that worked at the National House long time ago? I said, yes, ma'am. So the minister came to the phone and he asked me questions about my daughter and asked, was my daughter on a ventilator? And I told him, I said, well, sir, she's not on a ventilator, she's on an oscillator. So then the minister goes into a prayer for about 7 minutes, brother, praying for my daughter and asking Master Farad Muhammad to find her wherever she is and bring her back to us. And just words of guidance and words of wisdom, whatever the doctors tell you, no matter how ill they tell you she is, don't believe it. Believe in Master Farad Muhammad. That's what you need to believe in. And he gave us so much faith and so much words, brother, that he gave us. I mean, he gave me enough guidance to last me for a lifetime, just in that little prayer that he did, brother. And that has just been the strength that has kept me and my family, the glue and the bond that have kept me and my family together. He said that my daughter's life would be a testimony as well to the greatness of Master Farad Muhammad. Well, that's what I got out of the phone call with him, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. What a blessing it is to hear the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I pray that you and your family are healing, and we're sending nothing but positive energy towards you all.
Yes, sir.
Brother Dewayne, I performed the eulogy or the janaza for my mother.
Okay.
And that was a trial, but that's
yes.
a mother. I can't imagine what it's like for a father to a child or to a daughter. What made you want to, do that?
The thing is, I felt that even though I love the minister and the imam we have in the city, I felt that I was compelled to do it because me and her mother, we've been through her with this journey that she's been with her sickle cell. She's been struggling with sickle cell for the past 14 years. And we thought that this bone marrow transplant would be the thing that would help. But I just don't think that he would have been able to represent her the way that she would want me to represent her to the people about her condition. Because like I said, we was with our daughter from day one, from the time that she was born in Mesa, Arizona, from the time that she took her last breath in Phoenix, Arizona. We was with her. And I just don't think that nobody would have been able to do that job outside of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan if he would have came and relieved me that day. Wasn't nobody gonna stop me that day. No, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. And I and my siblings felt the same way about my mother. So I can understand a little bit. I said, nah, there's nobody else who could speak
Yes,
on
sir.
my mother other than us. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't feel that way. So I understand. And it was just, I just admire you, brother, for being able to do that with your, with your daughter. What advice would you give to others who are going through tough times right now, based off the conversation and the strength that you got from the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan conversation?
The biggest thing that I would like to say, if there's any family members out there that suffer, where their children suffer from sickle cell, and the only thing that they have right now for cure is either bone marrow transplant or either red blood cell exchange, where you get blood transfusions every day. The biggest thing that I can ask the believers to do is go to bethematch.com or go to a blood drive and put blood inside the blood bank so our children can have blood. There's more Caucasian people that's putting blood inside the blood bank than Black people. And the children that suffering from sickle cell can't get these transfusions that they have. The second thing that the believers need to do is, before they get married, to the young couples, before they get married, they need to do a blood test and see whether or not the male has the trait or the female has the trait. And that's the biggest way that we can stop sickle cell, is from two traits coming together and getting married. Sometimes you might want to be selfish and have children and bring children here and know that you and you and the wife or your partner has a trait. But if we can stop it on that level, then we can cure sickle cell on that level. That's would be some advice that I would give. The new believers need to find out who has sickle cell and who don't. And if you do have the traits, you need to figure out whether or not you want to have children or not. Because sickle cell is a painful disease to have a child to come through, to have to go through, just because you think that you want to hop in the bed with one another.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Thank you for your advice, sir. Sister Takia sends the greetings. Sister Valerie, both of my sisters, Miriam and Naima, send the greetings. And then my sister Naima said, all praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Well, okay. So on another note, sir, what has been keeping you going through the pandemic, keeping your spirits up, lifted, and every time I speak with you, it's always positive. How are you able to do that?
Brother, we go back to the criterion speech that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us and the guidance that he gave us. Now, mind you now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is always ahead of the media and ahead of the curve when he gives us this guidance and wisdom that he gives us. So when he said that the pandemic was from heaven, it's a pestilence from heaven, and when it was something that the devil has no control over, some of us who are following in doubt and suspicion, we wait on CNN to tell us that the minister is right. We wait on MSNBC to tell us that the minister is right. But when the minister told us that it was from heaven, I believed it. And then we had all our food saved up. We was already homeschooling, all praises due to Allah. Most of the things that the people who were already homeschooling, the believers that were already homeschooling and already had their food stored up, they was already in that mind frame of the minister with the criterion speech. So the people who was already sheltered, with us being homeschoolers, it was like we was already sheltered in, you know what I'm saying? So all the people who was laughing at the homeschoolers and saying, how their children homeschool them children, they're weird, they don't have no such and such. Now they had to come and call and ask for advice. They had to learn how to can. They had, me and my wife, we call them the Corona gardeners. Everybody went out and started getting a garden during Corona. Everybody went out and want to get chickens now. You trying to learn these things at the last minute. These are things that Allah had already blessed us. And I'm not bragging, brother, but this the path that we was already on. The path that the minister put us on, we were already on this path.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah.
Allah.
Yes, sir. Now, let's go back to this chicken. I'm a man who's a carnivore, loves eating some chicken. You said you garden, you got your own chicken, or what's going on with the chicken?
Yes, sir. I have 6 chickens that lay 6 black eggs every day. 6 chickens. Yeah, no, they're not black, but they're brown. Okay, brown eggs every day. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we have there's a black eggs about to get real deep. What we saying?
Yeah. What is brown? They're brown. They're brown eggs. They're not white. Yeah, they're brown.
Okay. Brown. So you got chickens, yes, sir, and
we do backyard gardening.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Years before the coronavirus, we're not Corona gardeners that ran out and got a garden during Corona. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, and is there a place for you? Do you have any stuff on YouTube or online where the believers and people from around the country can learn how to have chickens in their backyard?
No, sir, I don't. But anybody that want to learn can hit me up, and I'll tell them how to do it. I'm willing to help anybody. But you got to be careful, because some of them might have a homeowners association, and if they don't get along with their neighbors, then they're not going to be able to have chickens. If you live in a subdivision, you have to be leery of that, because some people might tell on you. But my neighbors like eggs, so I get along with all my neighbors: white, black, brown, red, and yellow, and I give them eggs, so they're not going to call on me. So we good to go.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir. So eggs is basically the drug game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. One egg could make an omelet compared to what you get at Walmart, brother.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, great. And are you on social media? Where can people reach? Is it Friends with Farrakhan? How can people reach out to you who want to learn how to do the farming?
I still got Friends of Farrakhan. They can go to look on Facebook for Friends of Farrakhan 2.0. Just hit me up on Dewayne Muhammad Facebook. But other than that, I don't have anything else. The old Friends of Farrakhan that I used to have, they took that away from me after the elections with Trump. So I'm trying to start it again with 2.0. And 2.0 is operating like maybe an AM radio station on a college campus. It's so low until they got the algorithm so low, man, until I probably can't reach from here to the corner. So somebody have to go and look for me and actively search for me to find Friends of Farrakhan 2.0. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Is there anything else from the conversation that you had with the Most High Farrakhan, Brother Dewayne, that can help you think that the believers should know, that help inspire you?
The thing that inspired me, brother, that I really seen, brother, is that I believe that I was so sleep inside the Nation of Islam and just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, not attending the mosque, not going to the mosque like I'm doing. So Allah had to do something to get my attention. So the Holy Quran says that surely I will try you with something of fear, hunger, loss, life, and diminution of fruit.
Yes, sir.
And then it says, but give good news to the believers and be patient to those who are steadfast.
That's right.
So wait a minute now. If you lost something, if you lost fruit and you lost diminution, you lost life, why are you going to give good news? Now, that's the part that I was trying to figure out. Now, wait a minute. How am I going to give good news? Brother, it's like Allah just woke me up like in an electric chair, brother. And I've been on fire. And anybody that knows me since my daughter has transitioned is that Allah has had me on fire. He has had my attention. And the minister said, he said her life would be a testimony. So I said, well, if her life is a testimony and she is not here, then how's she going to testify? How is she going to testify if she's not here? Well, if she's not here to testify, then guess what? Her family members are here to bear witness and to testify about the greatness of what God has done. And if you remember, when Jesus let the disciples go, that was called the Great Commission. The disciples were to make the Great Commission of Jesus known. The disciples were not to write a book about themselves, go in the studio and write a rap song about themselves. The disciples were to get and testify about the man who opened their eyes. So when Minister Farrakhan talked to me that day, brother, I felt like I was electrocuted, and I must make his Great Commission known. I can't work for American Airlines no more. I can't be their bag boy at American Airlines no more. I must now take my gifts, skills, and talents and the spirit that the minister have given me, and I will travel through every nook and cranny to make everybody know who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is. I'm not gonna write no book about myself. I'll get a song about myself. I'll tell people, because me, I'm nothing. But I feel that we as the believers must make the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Great Commission known throughout the earth like never before. You should know without the shadow of a doubt that he's God's man on scene today. That's what he said on the phone. He said, I'm not some Christian preacher that's on the phone praying for your daughter, brother. I am the direct descendant of God in your midst. I am number 3 in charge, and I am petitioning for you and your family because I love you and your family. Now I'm gonna sit down and lay down on a man like that? Man, I went in there and told American Airlines that they can kiss my black ass. I'm out of here, man. I'm done. I'm working for God now. I'm working for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I don't work for American Airlines no more. I work for God now. That's where I'm at, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And I'm sure that was an interesting conversation to have with your family. How did that go? You know, coming home and saying like you quitting that. How did that work?
Oh, my wife was like, we need to have a talk about that, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, we didn't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, sister, 18 years ago, when 20 years ago when we first got married, my wife had gotten pregnant, and she used to work for a textile industry down in South Carolina called Milliken, and they had her on the pipeline to be like a plant manager. And when we first got married, I was making like $7 an hour. So she came home, Brother Josh, and said, honey, I'm not going to be able to go to work today. I said, huh? What you mean you got to go to work today? She said, Dewayne, I can't do it. I said, you better go in there and tell them people what you got to do, because she was on the way to making 6 figures a year. So the next day she came home, she said, Dewayne, I'm not going to be able to go to work. And she sat on the stairs and she said, Dewayne, I can't do it. And we just bought a condo. We just moved to Greenville, South Carolina. She just got pregnant. And I'm like, oh my God, how in the world am I gonna make this with $7 an hour? And something just rose up in me, brother. And you know what I told her? I said, I want you to go to work and tell them to kiss your black ass. And my wife ain't been on a job. Anybody that know me on this line right here, my wife ain't been on a job in the 20 years, going on the 20 years that we've been married. My wife here, homeschool my children all the way. And like I said at the Janazah service, my children ain't never even been on a white man's school bus. But the one thing I did wrong in healthcare is I trusted the white man with my daughter's child. And that's the mistake that we made when I took my daughter to that children's hospital and they did what they did to her. It's like I delivered my precious cargo to them on a silver platter. But as far as being in a white man's school, my children ain't never been in a white man's school. My wife taught them everything they know. And if I had to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, walk to work, caught the bus to work, some brothers gave me a bicycle. There's a lot of people that helped me along the way. Now, I'm not get there by myself, but man, I did a lot to sacrifice so my wife could stay home. So you know what I said? I've done it for 20 years. I said, it's time for you to sit me on the stairs, sister. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, yes, sir.
Done.
Okay, yes, sir.
Done.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Sister Valerie says, teach, sir, make the minister known. Okay, great. Yes, sir. And thank everybody who continues to like, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. Brother Dewayne, so when you say you're going to work for the minister now, are you going to go into the ministry? What you going to do?
First off, I called the paper captain, because the way you work for the minister, the first off you got to do is you got to ask for a birthday cake. You know what I'm saying? You know what birthday cake is, right?
No, sir.
You got to order bundle final calls first. So no, I'm not going out to try to be no minister or none of that, but I have flight benefits. And I'm retired. I have flight benefits and I can fly all over the world for free, no matter where I want to go. So I might be in your city. Don't get mad at me if you see me in your city on the corner and I didn't ask to come to your city, but I'm getting ready to go and soldier this final call like I never soldiered before. I'm gonna bring Brother Bashir down in Atlanta out of retirement and show me how I can make 1,000 final calls per edition. You know Brother Bashir?
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that soldier out and he's gonna show me how to soldier, how we gonna do 1,000 papers a week, because I don't know how to do that. But that soldier right there, he knows how to do it. That's the first ministry, the final call.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, great. Yes, sir. And well, Brother Dewayne, what is your favorite memory that you have with the Most Honorable Mr. Farrakhan outside of the conversation you just had?
Oh boy. I'll tell you one of them that I didn't tell you on the last show. One day I was working at the palace and he was sitting on the back patio and some water was dripping on him. And he said, brother, what's that dripping on me out there, brother? Is somebody peeing on me from the roof? And I said, no, sir, brother, man, this ain't nobody peeing on you. And he said, you know what? I didn't even look, Josh. All I did was answer him. He said, you know what, brother? Let me tell you something. He said, if you're going to be working around here, for me, don't give me no fast answers. I want you to think when I ask you something. Now, I asked you, what was that dripping on me? I said, sir, I believe that it's the condensation from the roof. He said, what is the definition of condensation? I said, oh, shoot. Brother Minister, let me get Brother James, because he's an air conditioned man and he can better explain to you what the definition of condensation is. He said, well, all right then. And he came back and he said, Brother James came and he explained to him what condensation was. And I was like, wow, I can't be answering the minister with no fast answers. So I have to think about what I asked him what he asked me around here. But that was one of the most ones where he combed my head. Next to when I told you about it, I dropped his suits.
Yes,
Woo! Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Praise be to Allah. Well, Brother Dewayne, what advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers. A lot of the brothers got this thing inside the nation where you don't work for the white man or you don't work on the white man's job, and you got to create a job and you got to do for self. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote an article in the Muhammad Speaks called How to Get Employed and How to Stay Employed. You ever read that?
No, sir.
I got to get it to you. But the messenger gave a long list of how to get employed and how to stay employed. And a lot of the brothers we got this thing where a lot of the brothers that come out of the prison who have a background record and they can't get a job will throw off on the brothers who might be able to get a job and might be able to do a little better with them because they came from prison. And we have to give some kind of balance there. Don't tell the brother get off the job if we ain't got nothing else for him to do. An honest day's work is an honest day's pay. The sisters can't eat final call groceries from out your back of your trunk that you got. She can't cut that up and put that in the kitchen and put that in the pot because you buying final calls to make yourself look good. Are we stacking final calls in the mosque like Jack and the Beanstalk? Man, I could have stacked my daughter on top of some of these final calls in some of these mosques and she could have made it to the mother plane because we stacking papers and we ain't buying no paper. We're stacking papers and we're not selling papers. So get out of this thing about get off the white man's job. You know what I'm saying? If you got to go get a job and you got to take care of your family, if you got to get 2, 3, or 4 jobs, and Allah will strengthen your means until you get there, get a job, brother. BMW, a black man working. That's what the sisters want. And stop fronting around here with these final calls in the trunk of your cars, man. You can't eat final calls, man. We need to start selling final calls. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be happy with us if I was a soldier and I took 100 papers and the captain said, well, brother, we going up to 200 because regional captain said go up to 200. No, the regional captain don't run what's going on in my house. I know that I can sell 100 papers. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Supreme Captain would be happy with me if I stay a consistent 100 instead of buying 200 or 300 and putting them inside my trunk for final call furniture store or some final call collard greens in the back of my car. Get them final calls out the car and sell them and take care of your families, man. That's the advice that I give. If a brother got to get a job, let that brother get a job. You came out of prison and you can't get a job, don't throw off on the brother because brother ain't never been to prison and he ain't been through what you've been through and you had to create a job because you can't get a job. Bring balance. And get off welfare. Welfare is not doing for self either. You think because you push and you sell your final clothes and you sell your oils and your incense, well, you can't be at home because the white man can't come to you. The white man tell you you can't have no clothes inside your house because Sister Sally that you're trying to marry is on welfare, but you telling the brother who got a job, who go for an honest day's work, an honest day's pay, and take care of his family, that you're better than him because you sell papers and pies, but you on welfare. You on food stamps. You on EBT. That's not the teachers. That's not the teachers. And for us to come to the laborers and ask the laborers to help us raise money for our rent and our mortgage and our apartment, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in Phoenix, Arizona, to a brother who asked him what called the laborers hypocrites because the laborers wasn't helping him pay his for his apartment. The minister said, brother, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad never intended for the Nation of Islam to be a welfare service. He said, you have to get out and get a job. We don't pay your rent for you. That's what you do. So I'm telling the young brothers, go out and get you a job and take care of your queen and take care of your families. And give the white man his welfare back. Say farewell to welfare.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. My sister Naima said, yes, sir. Brother Samuel X. Clark says, go ahead, brother, teach, get a job, and then still away better. Still away home. And Sister Valerie says, Final Call Furniture Store, and she was laughing at that. Okay, great.
What city is Sister Valerie from, brother?
Los Angeles.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Yes, man. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Okay, Brother Dewayne, what type of music do you listen to?
Man, you ain't gonna believe it, man. You got me hooked on that whiskey, that Tennessee. You got me hooked on Tennessee whiskey. My daughter asked me, and the nurse, they said, Daddy, what is that song you was playing there? I never hear you play it. I said, Brother Josh gave me that song right there. So my daughter said, Daddy, I don't know what that is you listening to, but it was horrible. So she thinks that Tennessee whiskey was horrible, but I love it, brother. So, man, I can go from Van Halen. I can go to Broken Wings. I can go from Top Gun, the theme song for Top Gun, The Eye of the Tiger, jazz. But lately, I'll tell you what music I love, brother. And you know what music that is?
No, sir.
The tape package from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I need to order another one because you can't even read the labels on it no more, brother. The minister's music, day and night, eat, sleep, and breathe the minister's music, because he said that's what would get us through the dark hour. So I'm petitioning to the believers, if you don't have the minister's tape package, and he said that would be the thing that would get us through the dark hour, I don't know how you're going to get through the dark hour if we ain't listening to the minister's music. That's the music that we need to be listening to. That's my favorite music.
Yes, sir. Great. We have 2 more questions for you, Brother Dewayne. Thank everybody who's in the comments to continue to like, share, and subscribe. But I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. Yes, sir. Here we go. Thank everybody. Here we go. And thank everyone who continues to like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. I'm grateful for everybody. We're closing the year out strong with a lot of these wonderful interviews. If you would like to be a sponsor and or donor, please cash at the People's Podcast. Every donation, every sponsor matters. Thank you very much. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. If you need any of that, please reach out to him. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studios in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Sister Rock Communications. If you were working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Rock Communications. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad, Conflict Mediation, Squashing the Beef. He does a phenomenal job in the Southwest region. Thank you very much, Brother Minister. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, Children of the Most High, Giving Birth to a God in the Science of Child Rearing. Let's make sure we reach out and get that book from our sister. Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds. She teaches STEM virtually to young kings and queens all across the country. Please sign your children up, asiaticminds.com. Also, Urban Fashion Wear from Fashion Gods. The phone number is 314-329-6009. Thank you very much, sir. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. We're coming right back to our brother. Also, Power Campus Online Learning. Do you want to improve your homeschooling experience? how to help. I mean, we're here to help. 770-847-0786 if you need some assistance with your homeschooling. Dr. Henry M. Carter right here in Atlanta, Georgia, King Henry's Turkey Legs. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, The Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. Down is not out. Thank you very much. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Right back to our brother. Thank you very much. Okay, yes, sir, Brother Dewayne.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Music hits different vibrations to different organs, Brother Samuel. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Okay. Brother Dewayne, I have a question. Yes, sir. Do you know who was on the cover of the book Closing the Gap?
Oh, he threw a curveball at me. All praises due to Allah, brother. 98% of the people that I have asked who it is on the cover of the book, everybody tells me that it's Brother Jabril on the cover of the book. 98% of the people. So after that, then I asked them, I said, did you read the book Closing the Gap? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I read it. I said, you read it? Yeah. I said, well, you know, there's a chapter in there called The Meaning of the Cover of This Book. And they start talking like Goofy, Donald Duck, and Daffy Duck, because just be honest. If you didn't read the book, just say you didn't read it. You don't have to lie. Just say you didn't read the book, because if you knew who was on the cover, then you know what the cover would be. But that is Brother Minister Akbar on the cover of the book, and it's not Brother Jabril. But 98% of the people that I have polled about Closing the Gap tells me that that's Brother Jabril on the cover of the book. And immediately I know that they didn't read the book. And the reason why is because when the book first came out, I bought 104 of Closing the Gap books, and I passed them out and gave them out to friends and family. And the mosque that when I came to Mosque 32, the bookstore was out of it. And may Allah be pleased with Brother Dennis, who was the secretary at the time. But he lifted about maybe 20 of the Closing the Gaps for me and gave them away to the believers. And another thing I did in 2006, when the minister was ill, anybody who remember this can give me a shout out, but on Friends of Farrakhan, we made a petition to the executive council that we could put a ribbon on your car with a green ribbon like they do the troops when the troops go off to war. But I said that the chief is coming home. So let's put a green ribbon on your car. And when we get to Savior's Day, whoever send me a picture that they have a green ribbon, I'll give you a copy of the Closing the Gap book, because it had just came out. And a few people sent me, maybe about 2 people really did it, where they put the green ribbon on. But while everybody else was on the death watch, and everybody had an obituary written for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Friends of Farrakhan was not on a death watch. I'd like to tell you that about the Closing the Gap book. We believed that he was coming home. And we had green ribbons tied on our antenna of our car saying, we'll see the chief when he come home. But everybody was sitting around on a death watch back then in 2006. And your little brother bought 104 of the Closing the Gap books, brother. And I passed most of them out. When I drove across country, I passed most of them out for free. And like I said, I had about 20 of them left. And I gave them to the Phoenix Mosque number 32, put it in the bookstore. Brother Dennis bought them from me wholesale. But that's my love of the Closing the Gap book, because along with and it's interesting that you should ask that question, because along with the music, he said that we're supposed to be reading the book. The book and the music is supposed to go hand in hand for the 3.5 years that he's gone. So if we hadn't read the book, and we don't know who it is on the cover of the book, and we don't know the meaning of the cover of the book, because the cover of the book, where Brother Jabril's explained it, explains why we're inside the gap. So if we don't know why we inside the gap, and we didn't read the book, and we don't have the minister's music, we're going to be in a world of hurt in the dark hour, brother. Yes, if we don't get it together real quick.
Praise be
the music and the book.
Yes, sir. And people are showing you love. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Thanks to everyone who likes, share, and subscribe to the People's Podcast. And Brother Samuel, I want to make sure that you reach out. That people want to ask you questions one-on-one. Can they message you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And give them my phone number. You can call out my phone number, 602-334-8202, or Facebook, Dewayne Muhammad, our Friends of Farrakhan 2.0.
Praise be to
And
Allah.
I want to give the People's Podcast a shout out. Every time I see brother Josh interview somebody, I just go in my pocket. I don't even be thinking. My hand done hit the cash app button. So, hey, man, please support our brother and hit him with the cash app. I'm going to go down here and borrow some money when we get off here and see if my wife, I don't work no more, brother Josh. I got to borrow some money from my wife. See if I can hit the cash app for you, bro. I'm hitting it for you today, brother.
Praise be to Allah.
And it ain't going to be that number that we used to do no more. You graduated today, brother.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you very much.
You got a raise. You got a raise today.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you very much, Brother Dewayne. But Brother Dewayne, I have another question for you, sir. You do the janazah for your daughter. You're strong. You speak to the Most High Minister Farrakhan. What do you see yourself doing in the next upcoming years? As far as what advice can you give to the believers, or what we could be doing to keep our spirits up, like yours are right now?
All right. Inside the Closing the Gap book, on page 219, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said that there's going to come a time where there are some believers that are growing in the dark. It's a cadre of believers that are growing in the dark. They're not inside the house. He said they're not inside the house, but they're growing in the dark. And they see the man different than those who are inside the house. Even though they're on the outside, they see the man better than those who are inside the house. Because those who are inside the house have been defiled by hypocrisy and doubt and suspicion. But those who are not inside the house said that it was going to be one man that was going to come. And when that one man give a testimony, thousands that are outside the house is going to bear witness to the greatness of the man, because they see the man and they've been growing with the man as the man has been growing. And those who are inside the house have been defiled with hypocrisy. So a lot of our people that are outside of the house of the Nation of Islam, or outside of the mosque, we call them hypocrites. We call them duty dodgers. We call them this, or we call them that. But I know some of the people that had to leave the mosque because they didn't go upside some of the people's heads that's inside the mosque. That's why they left the mosque. They're not hypocrites, but they was hypocrites to what you was pushing inside the house. So they had to step back and not break the ranks of Muhammad and move back until we can get some good leadership. When I left the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, when I left the National House, brother, man, anybody can tell you, man, when I left the National House working for the minister, it was like I was getting a welfare check, and he felt sorry for me. I didn't know my right hand from my left hand. I had no skills, no gifts, no talents, no nothing to do for the minister. I left that house and I became a firefighter. I became an EMT. I was being called an agent and a hypocrite in the city that I was living in. I left Phoenix, Arizona. I left Amir Muhammad inside my house because his father brought him to my house. I left him in my house. I left my car at the National House. I went down to the city of Charleston, South Carolina, and was labeled an agent and a hypocrite while I was down there. So I joined the military. I got pissed off and I got tired and I joined the military. And I said that the minister spent his money on Brother Aaron and Brother Abner going down to college, and he wanted them to be generals. Well, why don't I go behind the enemy territory and set up a beachhead and proceed to take control? So I went in the Air Force and I became a flight medic. I became a battlefield wound technician. The capacity of being a doctor, it don't mean a damn thing out on the outside, but in the military, you can be a doctor in the military. I have the equivalency of being a doctor. I have the equivalency of being a firefighter who know how to do incident management and all of that. But it had nothing to do. Allah showed me when I went down to Jamaica, I went down to St. Croix with my Air Force unit. And I got so drunk down in St. Croix, brother. Until that morning, I woke up and I went down to the lobby of the desk and I asked for a Bible. And they laughed at me down in St. Croix, brother. They said, no black man ever came from the States and asked for a Bible. But I went out on the island that morning, brother, and I taught Islam like I never taught Islam before down in St. Croix. And I knew then that I wanted to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I wrote him a letter and said, "Dear brother minister, I am ready to join the ranks and be one of your helpers and one of your ministers." So I went back to South Carolina from that trip, and I went down to Beaufort, South Carolina, and I tried to start a study group down there. And the regional minister at that time told me, he said, "Man, brother, don't go down there, man. They're going to eat you up down there, man. The agents, they're going to eat you up down there." And I didn't listen to the regional minister. And I went down there and the agents did exactly what he said. But they ate me up. And I was a study group coordinator for about maybe 90 days. So then the brother who was in charge in Charleston was upset because we were shaking him up down there in Beaufort. And we had more people in Beaufort than they had in Charleston. He was in Charleston for about, I don't know how many years. Same 16 they had in Charleston when Captain Curtis started Charleston. He probably still got the same 16 now. We had 12 in 90 days. And they did everything they can to shut me down as the study group coordinator. But I've never been on fire no more for being one of the helpers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like I'm on fire now, brother. I'm a son of a Methodist preacher for over 44 years. I've been preaching since I've been 5 years old. Everybody have had a chance to make the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Great Commission known. But now your little black brother from South Carolina and now live in Phoenix is getting ready to take you to task. Anybody that want to challenge me, let's throw down the challenge on who's going to be the one to make the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Great Commission known. I got my life on the line now. I ain't got nothing to lose. Anybody that want to challenge me, let's throw down in righteous competition and make the Great Commission of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan known. That's my business that I'm about right now.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And thank everyone who's in the comments to continue to like, share, subscribe. And on that wonderful note, Brother Dewayne, I want to thank you for your sacrifice, the sacrifice of your family, and send you nothing but positive and healing energy, Brother Dewayne, for your daughter and for you. May Allah continue to bless you and your family, sir, and strengthen you all. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.